Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derbies, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of May Mania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
I guess so. That's what they say, Brian. That's what they say.
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
I'd like it to say the legendary Chris Marquardt.
Yeah.
That's what I would like it to say.
They were some folks had some questions on the factual nature of legendary at school today, so I was trying to explain to them what I do. A lot of questions circulating around the laptop, because I brought the laptop to school today. I was trying to catch up on some stuff during our lunch and gym class periods, and they weren't really sure why one would ever in the world need a computer that was that size. Because I'm almost famous. They disagreed. They really didn't understand how that was even remotely possible.
Was it kids or was it adults?
A mixture of all.
Yeah, they both
all
suck.
of it.
I wouldn't worry about it.
Actually, the question that I get the most from the kids is, with a computer like that, you must be really good at Fortnite.
Speaking of Fortnite, did you see the thing I put on my Facebook page? It was before football started.
I saw the thing that you put on your Facebook page about don't listen to what other people think, and I've been telling you that for a long time. Yeah. And I looked at it, and that's why I hid you.
Sorry. It wasn't directly exactly at you, but there's definitely times I have told you that. There's a thing I put up, and it said, when football season starts and your kid is better at Fortnite than he is in football, don't blame the coach, or something along those lines.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, I got a lot of likes for that one.
Forced introspective, huh?
Yeah.
It's one of those
things. In today's world, there's not a lot of introspective. Everything I've learned is everybody else's fault. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of people that'll step up and say, hey, you know what, I screwed up. My apologies. I'm going to get it right next time. There's just not. That's kids on all the way out to adults, because the kids are learning it from somewhere, obviously. And it's got to be from the adults to keep saying, no, honey, it's not your fault. That bad teacher shouldn't make you do homework.
If we want to wax philosophical for a few minutes, I learned of a new term. I don't know if it's new to everybody, but I learned of a new term that is superseding the helicopter parent, and it is the lawnmower parent. Now, a helicopter parent is a parent who hovers around and flits around. It's just sort of in the vicinity of the kid at all time. A lawnmower parent is someone who goes in and knocks down all the adversity in front of them, just mows over everything. So it's just the smoothest, cleanest path possible. And that is extraordinarily dangerous.
What, you mean everything's not going to be smooth and they're never going to face adversity in their lives? That's not how it is in real life?
You don't get to be a legend with a smooth path, right?
It's strange how that works. So let me think. If I ever seen Chris Marquardt work through adversity, once or twice.
Yep.
Just saying.
I'm slowing it down a little bit. I got a message back from XSplit.
Really?
I did. They sent me some links. One of the things that they told me to do with some of the screen grabs that I sent them about the technology was shut off Skype. And I had to message them back that Skype's never been turned on that computer, but it's a great idea.
But that's what it said on their little checklist of things to tell you. That's what it said.
There was a link. I gotta go into that computer and download it and see if it's going to work. I'm not immediately thinking that it's going to happen, but we'll try it. That is gonna fix things. But they also said make sure that Skype isn't turned on in the background and basically pirating the cameras on board. And I wrote back, okay, because that was a polite thing to do. You shouldn't not acknowledge it, especially after you've been waiting since like the beginning of July for some help.
Yeah, well, they're busy. A lot of stuff going on with XSplit.
They're busy. Yeah, they're busy. They're busy. I've even considered, even though we've got an account with them through next May, I've even considered just throwing it out the window and starting over. But the problem is, when I did the a quick workaround using two of the backup streamers that we had on that computer. Both of them had the same error. Both of them couldn't find the USB, so we're still in the same boat. But the big news is that, yes, here we are on episode 244, several months removed from when this first happened. We have finally got a tech support ticket response.
So by this point, we'll be at Capital City Carnage, and you'll still be waiting.
Yeah, we'll be at Capital City Carnage with a borrowed computer. We need a miracle to happen. It's just
goodness!
I just don't want to replace that thing. That thing is only. It's not even 2 years old, I don't think. Maybe
Isn't
it's
there
2
some
years
sort of
old,
extended warranty or something you could get for them things?
Yeah, and then they start asking questions, and I don't have the wherewithal to lie. I mean, if you look at the back of that case, there's all these dents where stones have bounced off it. They're like, what happened there? Never mind that.
They are not the stones you're looking for. Those are not the dents you're thinking of.
Yeah, you pick the thing up, and you can hear a piece of plastic rattle around inside that got knocked loose from somewhere. It probably came out of the fan. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So Wheel Days is coming up this weekend.
It is.
Excited about
Dan
that.
Bolton's Imperials for sale, I heard.
It's funny that you say that. Dan Bolton's going to be on with us for a little while, which I can only safely assume means he's going to run an online auction with us this evening.
Absolutely.
But he's
starting bid at $12.5, I heard. That's signed by Dan Bolton, though. He'll sign it for $12.5.
Are you a bidder at $12.5?
No.
Oh,
not a shot.
I misunderstood. But yeah, we're going to be talking with Dan. I'm still waiting word back from John King if he's going to be free. He's been up and down, busy like crazy with his job out there. I assume that he's going to be free Friday and Saturday to get everything ready for Wheel Days.
Come in handy.
It'd be helpful. But yeah, he's been busy. So I don't know if we're going to catch up with him. We're going to look at that, just kind of freeform it a little bit. I saw Ron McClung had a 75 roundback wagon for sale.
Yeah, floors are rough.
Which is right up your alley.
Or not.
Actually, every great wagon starts out with rough floors, I heard.
I've heard that they're the best wagons to buy because then you can patch them just where they got to be patched.
Everything.
Miraculously enough, they don't bend after that. But, it's interesting. Ronnie's got a nice stash up there. I'd like to, at some point, Ronnie and I had to get together because I've bought a car. I don't know if we can maybe do a little working and, see about getting a different car, or I don't know, but I would like to see the stash that Ronnie's got.
You have a car still up there?
Yeah.
It's not even in the U.S. yet?
No. I paid for it in Florida when we were down there in February.
Right.
And then have just been busy. That whole one weekend off every 7 weeks kind of cuts into the traveling time for going to pick derby cars up in Canada.
Why couldn't you go during the week? When your days off are?
Because Dan O'Connell does the hauling for me.
Oh.
And
well, if he was a real friend, he would take a couple personal days.
Dan would probably consider it. I don't know if Mrs. Dan would be all excited about it.
Do you have an enhanced license?
Yeah.
You do? Soon enough, we're going to need that just to fly in the planes in the U.S.
You want to go to Canada soon? Hang out?
I need to get an enhanced license. My passport, I'm pretty sure that by now my passport's probably expired too.
Hey, not to completely change the subject, but there's a worldwide festival of fireworks, Niagara Falls in November.
I have heard of this. Yes.
I think we're taking the family to check it out.
I think that'll be a good time.
Yeah.
I think
it's going to be cool.
That weekend, I'm going to be in Utica.
Really?
Yep, I believe so.
What do you do in Utica?
I'm trying to remember the dates. If I think it's the 11th. That's what you're talking about. It's the 11th, right?
Yeah, 9, 10, 11.
Huh?
9, 10, 11.
Yeah, I think that weekend I'm going to be in Utica. We got a race out in Utica at an indoor facility. It's converted over from an old basketball court.
Really?
Yep, and they have a couple rules there about charging those LiPo batteries that they use in the RC Derby cars. It's the same style battery in the race cars. And they have a rule where you have to charge those in a bag.
Really?
Because they've had 2 of them short out, and when a LiPo battery catches on fire, you can't put it out. You just cover it in sand and hope that it stops because it discharges and shorts itself out. They get really out of control, so they almost burn the place down twice.
That's kind of cool.
So they have some rules about that.
You had a race this weekend, didn't you?
Yeah.
How'd it go?
It was good. It was a lot of fun.
Race and derby or just race?
No, it was just we wanted to have a derby, but what we had initially set up was, since it was the opening weekend for the racing thing, was we were going to have a race at 2:00 on top of the hill, and then go to the bottom of the hill at the other track that's 5 minutes away and have a second race and have a doubleheader weekend, but we were at 2 different facilities. But then we had that microburst storm thing come through on Friday, and it rained out the World of Outlaws, which was moved to Sunday at Outlaw Speedway in Dundee. And the guy that owns the track works at Outlaw Speedway. And he told me that he had a lot of storm damage at the track, and they're trying to put the track together tonight. So when you put all those pieces together,
Didn't work out.
We weren't going to get that race in one way or the other. His track was pretty beat up. He's got a bunch of guys that were.
It was crazy. We went to a volleyball game Friday night, and we're all sitting there, and we were over at Midlakes, which I think you've probably heard of Midlakes School, right?
I have.
And we were all sitting in the gym at Midlakes, and all of a sudden, literally, everybody's phone around us started going off, and it was the tornado warning coming through. And we were like, son of a gun, I don't know if I've ever seen that. But I heard rumor of an actual touchdown in Alfred. I haven't heard anything.
I also heard rumor of an actual touchdown in Waterloo, but we looked at the score sheets and football didn't score.
No, we did this weekend. we haven't had problems scoring this year. Stop the other team, unfortunately. But it was crazy. There was some crazy weather over the weekend. It was quite the lightning show Friday night.
It was funny that this weekend fell the way that it did, as everybody got to hear that water bottle smash off. One of the on this days or recent memories that came up on my Facebook over the weekend was a shot looking down the front stretch at Dunkirk when the water was this deep.
Yeah.
And that was before everything started shorting out. So that was the picture that let us know that things were going to improve.
Yeah. How'd it work out?
It didn't.
Nice.
It didn't at all. I was telling one of the kids that they were at school. They were joking about getting shocked or something, and I'm like, 110 out of the wall isn't going to kill you. And they're like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, I wouldn't go looking to do it, but I took it to the teeth a number of times consecutively. I'm fine.
On that one little twitch every now and then.
My hair looks like a teddy bear's backside every now and again, but other than that, it's no big deal. But yeah, that picture, and I don't even. It was Lake Erie Rumble. It had to be, but I don't remember which year it was. It was the year that everything got rained on, or it was the year that we brought the tarps and tried to cover it up, and still got hit with such a horrible storm that they canceled the rest of the Derby.
That's crazy.
But it was bad. It was bad. It was just a swamp. It was Dustin Ingram was in the picture, if I remember right. It was the year that he came down. He's going to Blizzard Bash this year.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, I bet his car will be tough.
You think?
Yeah.
I think he'll be all right.
He'll be all right.
Some of those. Dan Bolton's going to be joining us here in about a half hour. Again, John King, if you're listening, I'm waiting on a message back to let us know if that is or isn't going to work. And
half an hour. Must be Dano had to clean the garage before
he's actually, if you can, Dano's working in Middletown.
Really?
And he lives in, I think it was Burlington Flats.
Yeah.
So it's like a 2.5-hour commute to work. So he left at 4. He said he had to stop and get gas, and he'd be back home about 6:30 or so, and we could give him a call.
That's crazy.
And Sean Ingram just messaged me. He's going to be back over there at Wheel Days. I'm sure they always bring Imperials. I saw Bob Dixon had put an Imperial together for San Filippo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be neat.
That's all right.
I seen a picture of Mark Benjamin hauling a full-frame Imperial.
From 19...
No, just recently. He was behind his red pickup.
Oh, really?
Yep.
What's he going to do with that?
I don't know.
Probably build a Ford Crown Vic.
Probably build a Ford Crown Vic.
Yeah.
But, he had that going. And
I missed that.
Yeah. 65 or 66, I believe it was. Nice Imperial.
You can tell by the grill.
I only saw side shots.
Oh. You can tell by the belt line on the seat post.
Yes. Or you can tell by the little bubble on the rear fender. I think only 65 and 66 has that. I could be wrong, though.
4, 5, and 6 all had the same body lines, I thought.
Did they?
I think. Oh.
I ran 260.
64s had the V in the grill.
How many?
The body color.
I ran 3 Imperials, Chris. How many? What were there? Actually, I ran 4. Actually, I ran 5.
Okay, so you're just so everybody knows that when he said I ran 3, I held up. I held up 4.
Yeah, I had. I had
the first one must have been early.
I had a
a
70 and a 71. I ran those on a Friday and a Saturday, or Wednesday and Saturday at Waterloo. The first one I ran was the 71, and that's the one that Brett hit me at 60 in the rear end and drove the speaker deck almost to my helmet. Mm-hmm. Then the next one I took Saturday night. I finished second, I think, with the first Imperial. Saturday night, I took the blue one back and broke the rear end because the perches had rotted on the right springs and it broke the drive shaft. And that was the year that Mark had that white Chevy wagon, and Ben had the Newport, and Harry Kopp had a Chevy wagon. Remember, it was out of control. Brian Wise won it. For sure, Brian Wise won it. So those were the first two.
That was Brian's first win there.
Yes.
That was like
Monaco. He was in Monaco.
99, I think?
Yeah. Yes. 98. Might have been like 98.
It was in there.
Yeah, 97, 98. And then I ran a 64.
That was the greenish one.
Nope, this was the black one.
You painted it black.
Yeah. Didn't have a lot of floors. We had to bend her back down after the because I didn't have the cheater bolts through the frame in the floor. But I finished, I think, third. No, I didn't. I think I was top 4 with that. I lost the transmission. That was the night that I got hit in the driver's door 9 times by the nose. All 9 were with the front ends of 2 different cars. George Braun 4 times, Mike Adams 5 times. Wasn't good.
Well, who keeps score?
That one was junk when I got done. And then I ran the 66 and won with it. And then ran it 3 more years. Never finished lower than third. Then I got another 64 from Kyle and ran that one.
The qualifying night with the 66 broke the transmission saddle. Right dead center in the middle of the track.
No, that was the saddle for the dry shaft.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yes, you're right.
I remember that happening. I'm like, wow, so much for repeating.
Yeah, that happens. That 66 was a good one, though. I ran that a long time. The last time I ran that was the year Nick DeCastro won. He had a yellow 65. And
orange bumpers on it.
Yep. And I drove the rear bumper to his rear window and actually had him hung up once and hit him and knocked him loose, and he ended up winning. It was a fun time, though. That had a 68 318 in it. That when I got done, there was 2 spark plug wires burnt in half. Motor was still running great, though. It was a fun time. She was junk when I got done, though. Were you getting messages from, Chris?
No, I'm looking at the picture of the Imperial.
Oh, Mark's?
Yeah.
I think it was just side shots. There wasn't any no shots, I don't believe.
I had to guess by the steering wheel, it's a 65.
You are an aficionado.
It's my guess. Everybody can message in and tell me how dumb I am, but I'm pretty sure it's a 65.
You look dark. Are you missing some lights over there?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I think those things got adjusted or changed.
All right. You look cooler in the dark. That's what I liked about the old studio was it was in the dark. The ambiance was cool.
So, old studio reference, right? 31st lap got the okay to go be part of Super Dirt Week this year.
Really?
Yeah. Mike Mallet was working on it, and they want me to bring I'm digging like old stuff out to make sure that we're reliable. But they've got a bunch of equipment up there too, and we're going to kind of put I think my soundboard and some of our mic system together with some of the stuff that they've got up there.
Cool.
And
I'll be there Sunday if you want me to come hang out for a minute.
We're going to be, like the NASCAR Home Depot.
Yeah.
Not the Victory Lane, the early one.
Yeah.
They want us to do that Friday, Saturday morning, and Sunday morning.
Cool.
And then possibly some post-race stuff, which is,
cool.
I mean, that's just cool.
Yeah.
That's been a while. I've never been to Oswego. I've never been inside the grounds of Oswego.
Well, obviously you have because you write that thing in the paper about Oswego. So therefore you have been there.
Well, yeah, I mean, by that token, sure. The people listening right now don't care about it anymore.
Just checking. Yeah, I got the call from or text from my brother today asking me to come dump fuel, so which I had just happened to already taken the day off, so I will be there dumping fuel in the
You're born for that.
black and yellow 84.
I thought he had purple on the car.
Brand new one. This is Darren
Juicy.
Kendrick from Canada.
We're nerding out here a little too locally for the racing stuff, but Hurricane won again.
Yeah. I saw him. There was an open house last week, and I saw Hurricane, Mrs. Hurricane, and the tropical storm. And we talked. I said, your new car must be really good. He said, it is. I feel it makes me feel younger. He said he feels 37 all over again. Sorry to our Derby fans. Chris and I don't see each other enough, so sometimes we got to get caught up on there.
Some of the people know what that's all about. I mean, Wheel Days coming up. Chad Whitney's got a bunch of wins out there. Mike Green's got a bunch of wins out there. The good speeds are going to be there as part of that thing. It's going to be a good show front to back. The two parts of that show that you just don't want to miss are that Imperial only heat, which even if there's only 5 or 6 of them, it's a knock around, drag out fight. And then the full size trucks. The full size trucks out there are some of the best trucks that we've ever seen. Mike Green won it last year, and he had the front wheel knocked off his Silverado, or his Suburban, and was still driving the wheels off that thing.
Didn't Gully get a win out there in that a couple years ago?
He probably
in the full size.
It makes sense.
2 years ago with a Suburban. 3 years ago. It was because you were streaming it.
Yeah, that was
because I watched it.
That was a couple years ago.
But it was like, because I've never had a weekend off. I was thinking about that on the way in today. I've never had a day off on wheel days. It's just never worked out that way.
Really?
Yep. Since I've been working at the jail, I've never had that Saturday off. That's a show I'd like to go see.
Sure.
And it's never happened. And the only time I've seen it was that night, and it was like 10 o'clock, and they were doing trucks, and I watched it.
Yeah, it does tend to run late just because there are so many heats. You're going to see 17 rounds of action by the time it's all said and done. They break everything down. The the fours and the small sixes all run together. David LaJewett won that last year, in a very unlikely run, really. I mean, that car was on its last legs, and for some reason it just kept refiring, and he ended up getting the win in that. And it came down to he and Carl Scheimer, if I remember right, the two teammates from Steerface Racing going at it. And then the full-size side of things includes the large sixes and all the V8s. So you've got the heats are broken down with the large sixes, the mid-size cars like your 70s Monte Carlos and some of your 80s box Fords and stuff. All that mid-size stuff runs together. And then you get into the full-size stuff, which is the Cadillacs and the Electras. And periodically you'll see a roundback wagon show up there. And then the Imperials run by themselves. So you only get 3, maybe 4 of them in the feature because they'll have a chance to run through the group consi, so you might get one more. It's not typical to see a bunch of them out there, but when they are out there, the people out there drive the wheels off. Hippie typically runs out there. He's always done a good job, and then, of course, we've seen Rick Engelhard do just magical things with Imperials out there.
Some pretty neat stuff with Grand Furies over there, too.
He's done some okay things there, too. Yeah, I'll never forget the night he took a Grand Fury and he flipped a Belvedere over from the backside. He flipped it right over the front corner. It was the coolest thing.
Yep.
And
wasn't that where the picture came from?
Yeah.
Was that night?
Yeah. Yep.
That's what I thought.
He was standing next to that bumper. And the first time I bumped into Rick was at Wheel Days, and we'd been in the same circles. We'd never actually met, and he had this green, this weird tealy green, it was hideous color green Imperial, and he caught this Le Mans against the wall, and the Le Mans was smoking and steaming real bad, and he backed way up, but you could hear him coming. So I backed away from the wall a little ways, and he hit him so hard that the front tire got up over the blocks, and then it fell back down. And the Le Mans was still running, but he couldn't move. And you could hear the Le Mans running and the much louder Imperial coming at him again, and he hit him a second time and got the front tire up over the wall again, and it sunk down. He couldn't move, and they ended up flagging it off. And I was about to hop down over the wall to go back out onto the track to gather cameras and stuff, and I almost jumped down onto a drive shaft. He hit the Le Mans so hard that it broke the drive shaft off the rear end and sent it like a javelin into the wall. Yeah. And it was sticking out, just like...
That would have been good to land on.
It was impressive. That rollover was pretty cool too.
Yeah. Our buddy Steve Siopa won the championship night at Hometowns. New Alex. There you go. Sorry, too many concussions. I think this is somewhere around his 11th win on the championship night there. He's won it a bunch. I'm not sure what happened with Mark or Todd. I haven't talked to those guys in a little bit. I just saw the congratulations to him. So congratulations to Steve on winning that again. Also, I seen Josh Buell and Jeremy Gully were sharing some pictures of some of the stuff that's going to be raffled off and given away at prizes at San Filippo, and it is amazing. Bumpers and battery boxes, and somebody's donated a fresh Chrysler Pliny. Just all sorts of stuff. Really going to be a lot of cool stuff auctioned or raffled off there and given away to drivers and stuff. So if you got nothing going on that weekend, that is definitely the place to be. I see they had a list of Heat, or I believe it was all Heat sponsors. Some local guys stepped up. The Eldridge Inc., they sponsored the Heat. Ellison's cleanup show, and the swap meet.
That's coming up on the 13th of October.
Yep,
that's right around the corner.
They both they all stepped up and sponsored. So it's great to see the our local guys helping to support a great cause. So really looking forward to that.
Why don't we do this while we got it on the front of our minds? We'll hit Spinning Wheels Productions is going to have that Sam Fleet Wheel Smash. I saw Alan McNeil, Father Time from out in Dunkirk. He's doing some more stuff. Had one of his I believe one of his techs that works at his shop read one of the flyers about San Filippo and returned back with a $100 bill just to give, just like that. That was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
San Filippo Smash, more than 200 entries. It's probably going to be closer to 300 by the time they're done. Bring it there, and officials are going to find some place for you to run. Anything left at the end can run for the San Filippo Cup. Bob Dixon, and we talked about him last week.
Green?
I think Mike Green won the first one. Yeah, and then Dixon won last year. Anything left at the end can run for that cup. The classes include the Power Wheels, the Compacts, the Heavy Compacts, Chain Class, Limited Weld, Heavy Weld, the Extreme Two-Man Class, the Trucks, the SUV Class, and small SUVs and vans, and then the Relic Class, that 1959 and older. Some of the cars that are supposed to be coming are just amazing.
Incredible.
And all of it goes towards a fundraiser for MPS 3A research, which is San Filippo syndrome. They had a goal of $50,000. It's looking like they're going to eclipse that.
I hope so.
In a pretty significant way. So that's cool. Online for more details. If you need rules, if you need registration forms, anything like that, online, spinningwheelsproductions.com. We've been talking a little bit about it for the last few minutes. We're going to be getting into it more here at the bottom of the hour, 3 minutes away or so. Brookfield Wheel Days at the Madison County Fairgrounds in Brookfield, New York. September the 29th, it's the annual fall cleanup show. You can't miss. I mean, it's always a fun one to go to. Typically 150-plus entries. There's been years that there were up over 200 there as well. A lot of fresh cars get built for this show, too. So, I mean, you're looking at 4-cylinders and 6-cylinders and even some of the mid-size old iron classes have fresh stuff built for it, and the heat still only lasts 6-7 minutes. I mean, they blow through fast, and there's 10, 15 cars of heat. Full-size and large 6-cylinders run together. Imperial's only heat. Full-size trucks, vans, SUVs, compact division as well. Online, facebook.com/King-Smash from Crash'em. And then also you can find more details at MadisonCountyFairNY.com. That's, again, King Smash from Crash'em overseeing that. Keeping things in the Northeast, Smash It Demolition Derbies has their finale coming up on October the 13th. That's their fall cleanup derby at the Fayette County Fairgrounds in Washington Courthouse, Ohio. The full-size cleanup class and the compact cleanup class are the headline of the day, but they've also got a built class for mild weld, street stocks, and mowers, plus the Power Wheel. Start time is 6 o'clock. If you want additional details on that one, online, smashitderby.com. After that, because we are now officially inside 50 days, Smash It will turn their attention to the biggest demolition derby in the country at the Landon Arena at the Kansas Expo Center in Topeka, Kansas. Blizzard Bash 2018 is coming up. Online for more details is blizzardbash.com. The schedule for the weekend goes like this. November the 7th from 7 to 10 is the pit party and all the heat draws, and it is a tense evening right there. November the 8th, 4 o'clock start, is the first round of qualifying for both the national bracket and that qualifying bracket. If you win that qualifying bracket, you will get into the national draw. November the 9th is the draw for the compact and limited weld teams, and then round 2 for both the national bracket and qualifying bracket. November the 10th is the double feature, the twin bill, 10 o'clock start for the compact and limited weld teams. They're having their first round at 10 a.m. and then at 6 p.m. All the Team B features, trucks, and limited weld one and dones. That right there, those two shows blend together with maybe 2 hours gap, maybe 2 hours.
If you're really lucky.
and then on top of that, it goes until midnight or so. The only place to get food is Denny's or McDonald's. November 11th is Championship Sunday, 1 o'clock start time.
Turkey thing we eat?
What?
The turkey thing we
Superbirds. 7 days of Superbirds. November the 11th at 1 o'clock start, Championship Sunday for the Bone Stocks, the 80s Mod, and all the Team A mains. Again, online, blizzardbash.com. Trying to keep track of where we're at. Okay, so the next big show for Stern Dirt Racing, October the 13th. We've said that date a lot. It's a popular date for the fall. October the 13th is Halloween Havoc at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. It's a $30,000 to win Run What You Brung show. and a pig roast party. Registration is only $75 to get into it, and registration includes a Havoc hoodie, your entry, 2 pit passes and general admission tickets, and 2 dinner passes. So it's not too bad. It's got to have 6 cars in a division to have a heat. Otherwise, the entry is going to be refunded. Payouts are based on overall car count. So $30,000 is going to be paid out that day. How it breaks down depends on what they get for cars. Additional details or questions, direct them to Stern Dirt at sterndirtracing.com. And rounding it out, we've got October the 20th. Chaos in the Valley 9. That's the fall date for Chaos in the Valley. Shenandoah County Fairgrounds in Woodstock. Showtime's 5 o'clock. It's going to be a good one. Compacts, stock V8s, modified V8s will probably do a one and done. We saw Josh Corletto pick up a win, Chaos in the Valley, back in April. Played that track surface perfectly and came away with the win. And we've got monster builds, monster payouts. Mark Wolf's going to be in competition there with his mod car. Sean Gokenauer is going to be in action down there. Shane Hammond's going to be. Just the list goes on and on. All the who's who of the Valley going to be back again for this one. Thoughts go out to Penny Shipe and Jason Shipe, who oversee this. Penny Shipe just lost an aunt in North Carolina, so their family's enduring a little bit of pain, but they'll be able to shake all that stuff off in a month and be ready to go. These guys now have a derby in the fall and in the spring, and they've been brought on to oversee the inspections at the fair. So the rules are consistent. Everything's been that way for a while. So that's a pretty good opportunity. If you want more details, jump online, facebook.com/Chaos Valley. So we'll go from there. Just got the message. Dan just pulled in his driveway.
Dan O is ready. Yeah, definitely no shortage of Derbian for those that want to be watching here in the next couple months.
I mean, what we just listed takes us through the middle of November. Sean McCollum's show is coming up. Winter Warzone in December. Jason Koch's got his show. I mean, there's still so much to go, and then we get to January and just the clock resets. Yeah, starts all over again.
I think that's the only month we don't talk about derbies is January. There's not offhand. I can't.
Isn't Freedom Hall in January, or is it?
No, early February. I
thought there was one in Sturgis too. Maybe it's the same one. I'm getting all crossed up now. But Dan Bolton is joining us on the line. How was your drive home from work?
Getting warmed up for Saturday, buddy.
Yeah.
So, Dano, the first question we have is the Imperial still for sale, and what's the price tag on it right now?
Well, I was offered $2,000 for it when I was down to Walton watching the Walton Derby, and I didn't sell it. So that should just tell you right there I was going to keep it.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. Usually everything's got a price with you, Dano.
It does, but it's time to run one of these animals, I've had enough of them, and I said, you know what? I might be done derbying here in a few years. I never ran one. I said, I got to run one here now, so.
Might as well get her done. Now, does it have the Dano 440 in, or did you go with the small block?
Nope, it's got my only motor I own, buddy, my 440, and it's got the Dana 80 with 513s under it. It's pretty much the same setup I've been running in the trucks. So
that ought to get it moving down the track pretty good.
Yeah, I took it out for a test run last night, and it snaps. It's good. It's right where it needs to be. So
that's what I like to hear.
So you've had so many different Imperials, but you've never run one.
No, I haven't. Can you believe that? They're money makers, man.
How many Imperials have you owned, Dan? Do you have any idea?
I've had somewhere between 6 and 7.
Didn't you sell one that ended up in England or something?
Yeah, I sold one to a guy over in Germany, and I touched base with that guy, and he will have that thing done. He tore that down, every nut and bolt. I've never seen anything like it. Beyond the restoration, every nut and bolt he took off that car and is putting it back together. It's going to be an awesome piece.
Wow, that's crazy.
And it's been saved then.
Yeah, that one was saved.
So, I mean, what are you expecting when you get out there? You talked about how snappy it was, how responsive the thing was. What do you expect? You've seen Wheel Days firsthand a bunch of different times. It's not anything like, I don't know. I don't want to be negative on anybody. It's not for the faint of heart, so to say.
No, that's a great show up there. It's only 20 minutes from my house. That's what's great where I live. All the derbies are close. I've been going up there for years, and I've run that up there 3 times. But there's going to be some serious iron there and some awesome drivers. I know who's going to be there, and that's going to be a great show.
Who else do you know that's running the Imp class, Dan?
I know Chad Winnie's going to be there, Mike Beers. My nephew's going, a few others. So, yeah, it's going to be a good show. Bobby Dixon's going.
Well, at least you guys all know each other, so you can you won't be bumping into strangers.
That's the best times, man. Is like lighting up your buddies, isn't it? I mean, to me, it is.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know a time or two you've blasted Gully, I believe it was, and I've seen you get a couple other guys you were working with. So yeah, it's right up your alley, Dan.
Yeah, I know. It's gonna be a good time, man. I've had bad luck at that track. Usually, I go up there and something stupid breaks every time. So if I can last for like 5, 10, or 5 minutes or so, that'd be good.
Aiming the clock high. I like that.
I remember Brian Molyneux one year ran up there with a 67. He had subframe Imperial 67, I think it was, with blue. And we had the in-car camera on, and you could actually see the moment where his hand broke through the steering wheel, and he broke his hand. It went out. So Josh Townsend got in his car because it qualified as a heavy hitter, but he didn't drive it, so he had to take that car through the Consti. He won the Consti, he went out, and he won the feature.
Really?
Yeah,
That's cool.
It was an impressive run.
That's cool. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a good time. I mean, Dano usually drives pretty hard. It may take him a minute or two, but then he usually gets after it pretty good. So,
would you hear his plan this year with the Imperial?
No.
He's got an Accord that he built for Wheel Days too, and he didn't weld the trunk shut yet. He's gonna stuff the Accord in the trunk of the Imperial and tow them both.
You know what? I kind of get a little smarter in my older age. I like to usually let that the first couple seconds or minutes of the heat when it's all kamikaze mode, if you can withstand that, you're in good shape. So
that is usually
that's the
true.
key,
That is usually true.
That down there, it's 100% true. If you can withstand the first 4 minutes when everybody's just going wide open full track, and you got a lot of room to work with on that track. You can put 12 cars on that track, 15 cars, and it's still really, really big. Mm-hmm. And if you can endure that first handful of minutes, that 4 or 5 minute window, you got a really good shot at qualifying out of there because guys are just sending haymakers. It'll be early in the heat, and the bumper will be around the carburetor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my truck bumper on here. I pretty much got my whole truck set up underneath this car. It took me 13 hours to fabricate this Dana 80 to fit under this car because on trucks, leaf packs sit on top or cars they run underneath, and I had to build new perches, make shock towers and all that stuff, and that was the hardest part width-wise too. It's tight. Like I got a couple inches between the wheel and the fenders, but it's in there and it's in there tight, so that's all that matters.
Now, Dano, how are you a little nervous about making it through inspection? I mean, you're pretty. What's the word I'm looking for? You're a pretty in the gray sort of builder. I mean, you're not afraid to play around in that gray area. I mean, are you nervous about inspection any, or you think you're going to slide through?
To be honest with you, I didn't even look at the rules. So
yeah, that's what I like to hear.
The tanks are full, buddy. The torch tanks are full, and they're going with me. So
that's what I like to hear.
I just figured out his plan.
Dan's
not going to run this car. He's going there with the idea of getting loaded. He's going to be able to sell the car on site, and he still doesn't have to bring it home.
Dude, I got my roof sign, buddy. My for sale roof sign sitting right here. I'm going to slap right on top of it. I no longer run my Dano 17C sign. I run the for sale sign.
That's
nice. I like it.
You got to put a strut or something on the back of that because it'll waffle it.
Dude, it's going to be that's a no joke show up there. It's always a good one, When I ran up there in 2000, let me tell you, it was around 2005, 6, somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. And I think I drew like heat 9, and I never ran till like almost midnight.
Right. And that was about the halfway point of the show.
That's crazy.
It was
the good old days,
Yeah, but I mean, everybody jokes about the good old days and having 200 cars. If you don't run an efficient show these days, the fans just get bored anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Their attention span's only so much. So the nice part about that show, Wheel Days, is it runs long, but it's so fast. The pace of the Derby's so fast, and you can justify running that many heats because otherwise you're going to have 30, 40 car heats. You got to spread them out. Otherwise, it's not going to be a good show on the flip side. And there's a lot of cars to run through. It's really, really well supported, and it's a fun show to go to.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a true statement. Because even when I go watch them, after a while, I've had enough. You know what I think really kills demolition derbies at a lot of places is the track cleaning time after or between heats. I've seen that. I've seen a great heat and then take 30 minutes to clean the track off, and by then
it kills your momentum.
Yeah, your audience is they're losing it. The coolest track cleanup I've seen this year for sure, possibly ever, was at the mini meltdown when Gully's guys were pulling cars off 3 and 4 deep all at once. They would just to get them off the track.
That's eagle towing,
and then they would move them on from there. But I mean, that was an awesome idea. I mean, that was really getting stuff done quick, and it kept the action moving fairly well. I liked that idea.
Boy, I hate to be wrong on this. I'm pretty sure that's eagle towing.
I think
they got
you're
a couple
right.
different locations. They got that gigantic heavy lifting wrecker, and they got 3 matching regular pickup style wreckers. One's white, one's black, and one's orange. And they have been out there for several years now.
Yep.
And they do that. They'll line up cars 3 and 4 in a row, daisy chain them together, and take the whole train off at one at a time. So I mean, instead of taking 1, you're taking 3. Turns time around fast.
Yeah, it does. Looks like leaving the old Wego Fairgrounds back in the day.
Are you still planning to go to Virginia this year too?
No, I'm not going to run Virginia this year. My goal, well, I don't really have a goal this year. I just kind of winged it, but I want to run up to Brookfield, and if I got something left, which I'm sure I will, I'll go to San Filippo.
That'd be cool.
Not a bad decision.
So, well, they're right down the road. They're both local shows to me, like 15 minutes one way, 15 minutes the other. So you can't beat that.
After you get your car dropped off, you head over to Josh's house and grab a load for him because he's going to need help getting all the stuff out of Whitney Point.
Dude, I'm working 2 hours and 40 minutes from home right now, dude, and I'm driving it this week to get finish up this car. I still got to weld all the doors. I got to put the hood on, cut a hole in that, build brackets, bolt that up. I got tons of stuff to do here yet on it.
You aren't even gonna have time to put a paint job on it, are you?
First time ever, boys, going original paint.
Wow. Dano, that's never happened. That's crazy.
I like the looks of this thing. It's kind of nasty looking the way it is, so.
That's cool.
I don't believe it.
That's cool.
We'll see it when it gets there. You watch. It'll have a purple roof or something.
Yeah, there's going to have to be some paint on it somewhere. He'll have to take his daughter out and let her do a little paint on it or something.
It's going to have decals on it, but I think I'm going to keep it. The wife's like, just paint it black quick. I haven't painted a car black in I don't know how long, but a good black paint job does look pretty good, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, nice flat black. That's a national color of Ohio.
So much wrong with that sentence.
Flat black is the national color of Ohio. You can't go to a derby there and not have 73 black cars.
Keep repeating that.
So, Dano, I've heard a rumor about your goal for next year for where you're going to run. Do you want to talk about that now, or do you want to wait till next year?
I don't even know what the rumor is, to be honest with you, so it must be a good one.
Well, I heard that you have a vehicle that you've bought, and you may or may not have been working on it already, and you want to run one big show next year. Does that narrow it down, or what?
I got this truck.
Yeah.
But where was I going to take it? To Utah again? Is that what the rumor is?
No, I heard possibly going to Bash for Cash with a pickup.
Oh yeah, yes. I forgot about that. Gully and I, yeah. I don't know how I forgot. I don't know how I forgot about that. To be honest with you.
Attaboy, Dano.
Yep. So. Yeah, you know how it is. We talk a lot, and what actually happens is two totally different things.
That is true.
That is true.
But I figured I bought this Imperial, and it was a good deal. I got the car for $800. That's dirt cheap for a roller,
Oh yeah.
And so I was like, I got it here, and I'm like, man, I can turn this thing over pretty quick. And then I actually had the truck in the garage, and I had the frame in there, and I was building leaf packs for it, and I said to my wife, I'm like, listen, if I'm going to run one of these things, I'm going to have to run this car now, because when I get done with that truck, I plan on running that truck 10 times. I mean, that thing's going to be nasty. So that was what I came up with. As I figured I'd just run this Imp now, run it a couple times, and hopefully it's junk, and then I can I'll start on this truck and build that.
That's what I like to hear.
Even if it's halfway junk, you'll be able to sell it.
Oh, absolutely.
People are going to want to get their hands on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's no different to me than running old. I mean, as far as the build, it's actually a little easier to build because they're so stout. Like I've run old Mopars for years, and it feels good. It's been a long time since I actually drove an old Chrysler, so it's going to feel real good sitting back in one of these.
Can we use the old Mopar nickname or no?
What's that?
Can we use your old Mopar nickname, or is that not allowed anymore due to copyright infringement?
Well, I talked to my sister, who's a lawyer, about that when I was going to have some T-shirts and all that good stuff made. And she's like, let me talk to a friend of hers. She wanted to talk to a friend of hers that was a copyright guy, and he said it's probably not wise to use the Mopar trademark symbol. They probably wouldn't do anything, but you just might not want to do that. So that's when I ended up changing the name to Extreme Impact Racing, and yeah, so that's why that all happened. And I didn't, just kind of want to do the right thing,
Right.
Absolutely.
Probably wise.
Probably a good idea. So, Dano, the second most important question is how is this year's big bucks looking up in your area?
Oh, man, you know what? My dad is so pissed at me because I haven't got trail cams out. This Derby's nonsense. It's going way too long and blah, blah, blah. He hates it because it takes away from him and I deer hunting together. But we got a couple hogs up on the hill. I don't know if you know the one that I shot last year. That ended up, I got that through Pope and Young, and that was, I ended up, I think it was grossing 146 and a half and netted 141 and an eighth.
It's a nice buck.
Yeah, I made the New York State.
That's cool.
Got in the books with it.
That's cool. That mount will be for sale here. Just give Dan time, and he'll find one he likes better. That mount will be for sale.
You know what, guys? Man, everything is for sale. Like, I can't believe I didn't sell this Imp. When somebody offered me $2,000 for it as a roller, what I paid $800 for it, that would have been gone in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
You're not the only one that's surprised that that's not been sold.
Yeah, absolutely.
And by the way, Saturday is still a couple days away.
Oh, yeah, we're still a couple days away. Somebody shows up with enough cash.
My nephew, Justin Schaefer, he's like, I don't believe that you're going to run that car. Then he stopped up here and he saw my motor in it. He's like, yep, I believe you now. He's like, I knew if you didn't have your motor in there, it'd probably be for sale. But see, since you put your motor in there, I'm pretty sure you're going to run that car. I'm like, yeah, so it'll be fun. It's, for my style of driving, I think the 67, 68, 970, the hammerhead styles is what I need. So I like to drive forward. So
yeah, it's all easy driving forward than it is. That backing up's for the birds.
The only problem with
Remember when you used to back up all the time back in the day? It was an art to try to hit somebody.
No, I never backed up. That's my problem. Usually my front bumpers are on my carburetor. You can put taillights back in them. I'm not a fan of backing up.
It's a true statement.
Hey, Brian, are you going to run? Are you coming down to San Filippo to run?
I'm just coming down to watch. We with football and stuff. I don't really. Coaching two teams. I don't have the time to throw at a car. So I'm going to make it to watch this year. Hopefully next year I have something left and I can come down and run. But we're going to make it down to watch. I already got the day off from work, so I will be there supporting in any way I can.
Yeah, it's going to be a good show. I don't know if I told you guys this, the transmission, I got a brand new transmission behind the 440, and Paul Cox built it for me because when he ran my truck out here, he's disintegrated it because, it's just the way he likes to drive. And, I bought a high-performance kit, and I shipped it out to him, and he had a core that he get off Matt, and he built this tranny for me. I don't know, sometime last fall, and I ended up finally getting it shipped out here, and I get it all bolted up. I start putting tranny fluid in it. It's leaking out as fast as I can put it in.
Whoops.
And come to find out, we must have had a bad torque converter seal, so I put a new torque converter seal in it, and then it started leaking out a sensor, so I called him up, and he said, just plug the sensor. So we plugged the sensor. I hooked my shifter up. I go to put it in gear, I have nothing. Like, it's bound right up tight. This is all Saturday. This is what I dealt with. Sunday. So long story short, I was talking to him. He's like, man, must be that plug is just in there just a little bit too far, and it's not allowing that shift selector to rotate. Sure enough, I backed that out like a couple turns, and bam, I had all the gears. So I ended up having to grind that thing down, clean it up, and then put it back in there. Now the thing shifts good.
That's cool. Now, is this guaranteed you can just hold it on the floor and shift from reverse to low and she'll go, or what?
I don't know if I would do that. I've never been that kind of guy. I always stop before I shift. It only takes a couple minutes,
Oh, yeah.
Seconds.
Oh, yeah. That's for sure.
But I got the pinion brake in there too, so it's stopping the drive shaft. So he says it'll be good to go. So he says cool. It's good. I know it's good.
Absolutely. Paul knows what he's doing.
I'd be more worried about busting a bell or something, cracking a bell,
Yeah. Yep.
And then losing a gear.
Yep.
Then you can put a steel bell on it.
Yep. That'd be golden.
Then you're all set. Nothing to worry about then.
I don't think they don't offer. I don't think they offer a steel bell for a 727 that I've ever seen.
Well, for a guy who likes to sell stuff as much as you do, that sounds like an opportunity.
Chris, it's so great to talk to you, buddy, man. It's been a long time.
I agree. I think I'm excited that you got an Imperial out there to go run with. That's gonna be cool. I mean, once you get this thing built, if it holds up, this could be a car that's around for a little while.
Well, my buddy Chad Winnie tells me, he says, Dano, you don't want to run one of them. He says, because once you do, that's all you're ever going to want.
Are you done with compacts again now and just focusing on trucks and potentially the Imperials?
Yeah, you never know what I got up my sleeve, Chris. That's what I like. I went from Camrys to Imperials in the same year.
Right. That is a fact. And you went back the other way just as quick, getting out of full size going into the compact stuff.
The compact stuff was fun. I just wanted to fall back in there and just see if I could compete, and right. I did. I got some wins and some mad dogs, and kind of rejuvenated me a little bit to get back into the weld and build, because these, welding just takes so long. Where those compacts, and I could have one of them done in 2 days, top to bottom.
Right.
Can't beat that.
So. Yeah, and you can't really do that with the Imperials. I'm not for sure on what the rules are out there. No different than what you've got in front of you for a rule set that hasn't been looked at. But what's the conversation been like about welding that trunk solid? And we were talking about driving forward and not going backwards. Those have a tendency to get, unfortunately, predictable. When those trunks are welded up tight, those leaf springs will push that thing right up to the back window.
Well, here's the problem for me. I'm like the way I like to build, I'm like about a week. I need another week to put this thing exactly where I want it. I don't have built leaf packs in the back, which I always flat stack good strong leaves because that's important on these. And
right.
So I'm just basically, this would probably be the worst built rear of a car I ever did. I'm just going to weld it. I'll put a couple notches down in there, a couple slices across the sub, and let her roll in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
Because, the last one I built, that other, the Y-frame 65 300 there, I did some work to that. I
right.
did a nice wedge to it and big strong packs, and that was my Rick tribute car and Morris. You remember that one, right, Chris?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yep.
And that one, that thing back perfect in the back. It just rolled right up and pretty much stayed there. But I don't plan on going backwards at all.
Right.
So.
Yeah, but you can hit that 45. That's the problem. Is everybody knows that magic 45. If you could do that, boy, you could really upset an Imperial.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you hit those sub freeway corners. It's
nasty tilted Vicks up there too. So
yeah,
that's gonna be a hard hitting show.
I know it always is. I know a lot of folks are looking forward to it. You got anything on deck then official for next year? We sort of joked around about the Bash for Cash. We talked a little bit about the trucks and things like that. You got anything hard and fast? Doing any traveling?
I kind of totally forgot about that. I talked to Gully and we were going to go down there. As of right now, I'm actually ready to be done. I wasn't even going to run this car. I was just going to work on the truck. But yeah, so I want to run that truck. Like I want to hit all of Gully's shows next year with that truck.
Sure.
That's what. So that's kind of, if I don't go there, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to run every one of his shows with the truck. So, and I'll hit Brookfield. I want to see what this thing, because this is basically, I'm taking a Utah style, everything I learned out in Utah, building with Paul and those guys, I'm going to turn it into New York build and see how well it holds up.
Right.
Now, what kind of truck is this, Dan? That's one thing you haven't told us.
It's a 1-ton Dodge. What year is that? 60? I don't know. It's old.
Nice.
But it's a 1 ton frame, and that's what you want. You don't want the half-ton frames. You're junk. And basically, it's a straight frame front to back. And I'm gonna have when I was running my Dodge truck, remember I was blowing spindles off it all the time.
Yep.
The independent front suspension. Well, this one will have a solid front axle under it, with leaf packs. So that's for the front axle. So this thing's gonna be pretty nasty.
Mark Wolf has that set up on his Crown Vic.
Yeah. Yep. Those guys can build down there, man.
They don't mess around.
Cool.
I'll tell you who else could build a nasty imp is the Ciopa boys, man. I'll tell you what, I've been talking to Steve a lot. And, them boys are in a whole new level.
Oh, yeah.
A whole nother level.
The imps they built for Bachelor Cast this year were nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Nasty,
They were.
nasty.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, I'm hoping they build at least 2 more for next year. That
You want to go take notes?
no, I would never put that kind of time into a car. But it's awesome. It's awesome to watch them run them.
Right.
You know what Steve told me? I was chatting with him one night. He says, I'm going to make Chryslers great again.
That's awesome.
His exact words to me, and I was so pumped because I'm a diehard Mopar guy. He's like, man, he says, I'll eat. And the thing is they run GMs too. He's like, man, I can build these imps and eat them GMs right up.
Yep. They were they knew they were there.
Yes.
I mean, that was
no question.
And that feature they said go, and that was they were after those 2 imps hard. So
yeah, Steve got put up on the blocks.
yeah, it was it was a hell of a feature. I mean, I definitely can't wait till next year because it's pretty cool to watch the Mopars run. I would love to see, and like I said, I was talking last year at Blizzard Bash with Jimmy Johnson, Chad Markley, and there was another, maybe Troy Tagg was standing there. We were all talking, and Jimmy and Chad were all about running subframe Imperials at Blizzard Bash. They thought that was a great idea. So how cool would that be to go to Blizzard Bash next year and see subframe Imperials?
They were saying that to make you stop talking about it.
Oh, no, they're the ones that brought it up. They were the ones that brought it up. It was awesome. I just stood there with my jaw open listening to these guys talk about it. It was cool.
They've told us before that they're into them. Mm-hmm. They've done them before. I mean, obviously the landscape changed and they got into the mid-70s GMs, which are generally, if you look at the history, is generally a stronger, more reliable car versus the subframer, but sure would be fun to see.
Absolutely. If you could
take some of the modern applications and
figure out a way to keep that rear end in there, those cars would be nasty.
The key to the sub imp is to keep the rear of the sub from pulling out of the floor. That's it right there. When you figure that out, that's where they want to drop every time. They want to pull out right there because they're so strong up front. You know.
Too strong.
Well, the problem, the thing I've noticed is that a lot of cars, they have bad floors, so they have to reinforce them. They have to put another floor in there. So, I've seen that in a few Imperials, and they didn't pull out. So you just have to get. It's like fixing a wagon for someplace. They just happen to be rusted in the right spots, and you can weld them up there. Yep. So when you get an Imperial with a bad floor pan and double them up.
What about the time you put that 4th floor in? That sub's not pulling out.
Yeah, you get 3-4 floors in there and they ain't going.
You're all set. You're good to go.
That's the thing, if you want to run a battery box, well, run a massive battery box plate, 3/8 under it. You want to run gas brake pedal, well, you got a 3/8 plate under that,
Absolutely.
It's just about using it, and if you can get away with it. That's another thing.
That's a big part of it too.
Tire all up.
Yep.
Look in somebody's floors and it's all 3/8 plate.
Yeah.
Dano, we're just about out of time here. Anybody that you wanted to make mention of here before we go?
No, not really, man. It's just good to talk to you, Chris. I was hoping you were going to be live streaming that up there. I think we've talked about this. I thought you were, so that was one of the main reasons I wanted to go run there. I always love running the live stream shows, but yeah, no, it's just good talking to you guys.
For sure. We wish you the best. Keep us posted on how it goes. I wish you the best of luck, and hopefully everything goes smooth and you can shake off all the Brookfield bad luck.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. It's nice talking to you.
Yeah, we'll see you later.
Have a good one.
Dan Bolton
Car is still for sale if you get a hold of Dan Bolton on Facebook.
That is going to do it for episode number 244. Wheel Days is this weekend. Brookfield Wheel Days at the Madison County Fairgrounds. King Smash 'em and Crash 'em Derbies on Facebook. Look them up. Let them know that you like them. They had a great Speedway series, and they're going to end the year with Brookfield Wheel Days again. 150, 170 cars. Almost a no-brainer. We'll be checking in with the results and the follow-up on Monday when we get back on the air. That's going to do it for us here at the North Park building. We'll see everybody again next week.
The Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of May Mania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel, and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York.